Imagine this. You're sent on a mission. You and 3 others need to travel 10 kilometers from point A to point B. There's just one rule. You're all physically connected, roped together. The first few kilometers go smoothly. Everyone's moving strong. Momentum builds. But halfway through, at kilometer 5, one member starts to break down. Physically drained, needs rest, can't push forward. Now here's the thing. It doesn't matter how much energy the other 3 have left. It doesn't matter how fast they could run. The entire group is limited by the one who's most exhausted. And so you wait, or slow down, or drag dead weight. Either way, progress stops. Now imagine this. You are no longer just one of the 4 people. You are all 4. Each person in that team represents a different part of you. One stands for your discipline, another for your focus. A third embodies your emotional intelligence, and the fourth represents your technical skills, knowledge, or confidence. Whatever trait is most relevant for your journey. Point A is where your career begins. Point B is the life you dream of, the ultimate vision of success that drives you forward. And just like in that roped mission, your pace isn't set by your strongest qualities, but by the one part of you that breaks down first. Your dream life doesn't wait for your most capable version. It waits for the slowest part of who you are. That's what a limiting factor is. It's not about how strong your leading traits are. It's not about how fast your best qualities can go. What really matters is how slow is your weakest trait, because that's the pace that defines your entire progress. In economics, we call this the limiting factor. For example, in a factory, it doesn't matter how fast 3 production lines move if the 4th one, the bottleneck, is delayed. That one slow segment sets the pace for everything else. And just like in that factory, the only way to get to your dream life is to improve the limiting factor, which in this case is one of your own traits. The rest of you is already strong enough to get there. It's just this one area that's holding everything back. That's why it's essential to make optimal use of your traits. If you want to dive deeper into how this works in real life, check out a previous video where we break down the importance of IQ versus EQ, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. For example, let's say you have an IQ of 100 and an EQ of 120, but your job is highly analytical. Ideally, it would require an IQ of 130 and an EQ of 90. In that case, your limiting factor is your IQ, not because it's bad, but because it's below what the role demands. At the same time, your EQ is higher than necessary. That extra capacity is wasted because the job doesn't require that level of emotional nuance. So instead of maximizing your potential, you end up fighting uphill. You'd do far better in a job that matches your real balance, where your 100 IQ and 120 EQ align with what's ideally needed. That's where both traits are used to their full extent. That's where growth happens naturally. So ask yourself, which part of you is setting the pace? When in your day do you feel resistance, frustration, or avoidance? That's usually your limiting factor revealing itself. And no, solving it doesn't mean overhauling your life. Sometimes it means repositioning. Just like in the roped mission, where redistributing the load lets the team move forward, you need to shift the weight onto your strengths. Use what's working to support what isn't. Let your strongest traits carry more of the mission. This week, start paying attention, not to where you're fastest, but to where you consistently slow down. That's your real work. Because in the end, growth isn't about pushing your best self harder. It's about freeing your weakest self from holding everyone back. Your potential isn't limited by how fast you can go, but by what you haven't yet learned to carry. Reaching point B requires more than simply switching jobs. It requires recognizing your limiting factor and finding creative ways to reduce your dependence on it. In the roped scenario, this means redistributing weight so the stronger members carry more, compensating for the weakest. In real life, that might mean leaning more on your communication skills if your analytical abilities aren't yet sufficient. The key is to position yourself where your weakest trait isn't the one everything relies on, and to ensure your strongest traits are the ones that carry the load. So here's the final takeaway. Your success isn't about being perfect across the board. It's about knowing who you are, honestly, and adapting your environment, roles, or habits so your strengths lead and your weaknesses don't hold the rope. The mission doesn't fail because you're weak. It only fails if you ignore it.